Northern Nigeria versus Southern Nigeria. Northern and Southern Nigeria exhibit notable differences in regional diversity, political violence, and victimisation.
This is New Media TV in London. Live stream with confidence. Content is king. Welcome to another epic video. Your host is Frank Bello. Let's get started.
Background to the story. It is common sense to think logically that a country will experience peace after gaining its political independence from colonial powers. However, Nigeria's history is filled with various forms of political violence. The inter-regional intimidations, ethno-religious polarisation, and political violence that emerged in the early years after the country's independence, partly leading to the first coup and counter-coup in 1966, will never be forgotten. The losses and damages from the Civil War of 1967 to 1970 have yet to be recovered. Since returning to democracy in 1999, elections have been marred by violence, albeit to varying extents. In addition to electoral violence, the insurgency in the north and the secessionist violence in the south are politically motivated.
Rewind. Northern Nigeria's rule over Nigeria was a period marked by dominance and significant, often disproportionate, political influence, especially from the 1950s onwards. Before Nigerian independence in 1960, British colonial policies granted the larger northern region extensive autonomy as a means of control. After 1960, northern-based political parties and figures consistently held power, culminating in the 1966 military coup and the subsequent Nigerian Civil War.
Major MZR, can you please give me an account of the night of the coup in Kaduna?
Well, it's rather something like the longest day. We started this off on the night of the 13th of January, when a night exercise was planned by the military college, which I command. We took our troops to the ground and taught them how to do night attack. We didn't tell them what we were planning for, but at the end of the exercise, we took them out and showed them various places where they were to stand and just remain in the vehicle. Next day, we went out again for the same type of exercise. At the end, we issued them with ammunition this time, live ammunition, and told them that they were going back to the same place as they went yesterday, but this time they were to get certain people.
And they were with you, were they?
Oh, of course they did. Oh, they all supported us.
Did the Sergeant himself attempt to fight?
Well, no. We didn't see him until the time we actually shot him. He ran away from his house when we fired the first few shots of anti-tank gun into the building. The whole roof was blown up and the place was set alight. Then we went to the rear of the house and started searching from room to room until we found him amongst the women and children, hiding himself. So we sort of took away the women and children and took him.
Now, what are your relations with General Iramsi in Lagos?
Well, very good. He's my boss. I have always been under him, and I still am under him. There isn't really any problem. A few misunderstandings arose, but this was due to the publication in the press and by announcements over the radio. At one time, they started calling us in Kaduna rebels, whereas in fact the revolution was all a planned affair all over the country, and many other people were.
Northern and Southern Nigeria never ruled Nigeria as separate entities governing the entire nation. Instead, the British united the Muslim North and Southern Nigeria protectorates into the Colony and Protectorate of Nigeria in 1914, forming a single country. The idea of northern ruling Nigeria and southern ruling Nigeria is more relevant to the post-independence period, when different regional and ethnic groups have held varying degrees of political influence and dominance, especially during times of military rule and subsequent democratic administrations, rather than a straightforward historical period of one region ruling the other. British colonial policies and power dynamics. 1. The Amalgamation of 1914. Lord Lugard united the northern and southern protectorates to create the Colony and Protectorate of Nigeria in 1914. Although a single political entity, the North and South retained separate administrative systems. 2. Regional autonomy. In the 1940s, the Richards and Macpherson Constitutions, 1953, granted extensive self-governing powers to the northern region in areas like foreign policy and customs. 3. Dominance of the North. This transfer of power resulted in a period of northern dominance over the federal government after 1953, a shift supported by agitation for northernization.
Post-independence political landscape. 1. Northern political party dominance. In the 1950s, the Northern People's Congress, NPC, led by Sir Ahmadu Bello, held sway over the northern region and parliament. 2. Political stability and instability. The following decades saw the northern region maintain its political dominance. This resulted in instability, corruption, and ethnic tensions, particularly after the 1964 elections. 3. The First Republic and its collapse. The post-independence First Republic was characterized by regional rivalries and political instability, culminating in the 1966 military coup. 4. The Nigerian Civil War. The 1966 coup and counter-coup, together with the anti-Igbo pogroms in the north, led to the declaration of independence by the eastern region and the subsequent Nigerian Civil War, 1967 to 1970. One difficult question remains unanswered 65 years after Nigeria gained independence from the United Kingdom. Is Nigeria a country of morons, imbeciles, idiots, or all of the above? It is no secret that Nigeria's ruling elites are cruel, blood-sucking parasites, amoral, and unfit for the offices they hold. Yes, they are. Ironically, this has not prevented them from becoming presidents, governors, ministers, and other high-ranking officials. Although the citizens are aware of their leaders' flaws, they choose to remain willfully blind, uninformed, and misguided. Both citizens and leaders lack self-respect and the courage to act. The oppressed are afraid to rattle the cage of their oppressors. There's no accountability for the thieves. Kleptocracy is the hallmark of the president, governors, and other elected officials. They see their positions as personal ATMs. The country has been so demeaned, and the people so deranged, that they keep electing sickos into office time and time again. What a buffoonish country. Rotten from the inside and desiccated, the country is staggering into oblivion. At every given opportunity, the people continue to vote for the worst legislators in the world's history. Each group of legislators proves dilatory and more irresponsible. Never have we had a National Assembly more vicious and less capable of seeing the forest for the trees. There is a link between power and madness. History is replete with rulers driven insane by overestimating their own strength. The Nigerian case confirms this. We are ruled by a government controlled by a band of vandals, a nihilistic group that sees the government as its own property. Nigeria is where the oppressed willingly hand themselves over to thieves and lunatics to oversee their affairs. Strange and frightening events occur daily. We hear of a soldier being detained for complaining about fighting terrorists without weapons, without pay, and without food. 356 soldiers fighting terrorists resigned because the government failed to look after them and their families. Billions of pounds meant to mitigate the economic impact of COVID-19 on citizens were stolen by those in charge of the fund. Attorney General Malame defied the country's CDC COVID-19 guidelines on public gatherings by hosting a society wedding party for his son, with 6 private jets transporting guests from near and far. He also gifted his son 2 multi-million naira mansions.
Legislators received a new fleet of SUVs costing billions during the COVID-19 pandemic, while their citizens die of hunger, disease, and are ravaged by COVID-19. State governors divert civil servants' salaries into their personal accounts, while workers remain unpaid for months. Legislators donate electricity poles, wheelbarrows, loaves of bread, boreholes, ropes, wires, buckets, blankets, pillows, soap, and other bizarre items as empowerment tools to their constituencies. Around 14 million school-aged children wander the streets. Education has been decimated.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Arewa Primary School in the heart of Benin, Apapaba Road. I'm here this morning because I came to park my car inside the compound and I saw some children, so I thought maybe it was an abandoned school, only for me to find out that it's a functional school and kids are actually having class. Right now they're in break. As you can see, it's raining and this is a class where people are. This is a class where people are taking, children are taking lecture. In the heart of Benin, this is a class where children are taking lectures. Something like this is not good. This is not good at all. The government has to come to the rescue of this school right now, because this is appalling. This is really, really appalling. Children are inside the rain. Children are inside the rain taking classes in this school. This is an embarrassment to us. This is an embarrassment to Nigeria. This is wrong. This is completely wrong. This is the school. I was shocked to find out that this is a school where children take classes. You know, that's a school where children take lectures. I mean, I'm short of words. I'm really, really short of words. I'm shocked. You know? Una dey break? What a class? This one only for the first. How often they take class for here? So you see, everywhere is raining and the kids have nowhere to even stay. So a lot of them are outside because they cannot even have there's practically no roof over their head anymore. You know, and this is supposed to be a school. This is supposed to be a school. This is really really shocking. You know, as long as the kids are outside, because the rain has driven them from their classes, there are no chairs, there are no tables, and practically there's no floor for them to sit down. You know, this is again, what's this school name again? Only Arewa Primary School. Only Arewa Primary School. Yes. Where is it located? Apapaba Road in Benin. Yes. Okay. No, this. So this. What about this class? This class completely collapsed. This class collapsed. Yes, sir. Now, wow. So how do you manage to take classes? Your former class? What class are you? My sis. Yes. So how are you managing only that one class now? Primary 5 and primary 6. Wait, calm down. So rain dey beat una now. So rain na is wet you like this now, but na your own class.
Students study in dilapidated buildings and in the most hostile learning environments. University graduates are turning to roles as Danfo drivers and Okada motorcycle riders due to unemployment. Workers often go unpaid for months or even years. Chinese factory owners in Nigeria treat Nigerian workers as indentured slaves and, at worst, as disposable commodities. Moribund hospitals, contaminated drinking water, death-trap roads, epileptic electricity supply, shanty public housing, and a non-existent social safety net are some of the problems citizens face every day in Nigeria. Lawlessness, injustice, and other wildlife characteristics shape the new civilization. Armed robbers, Fulani herdsmen, terrorists, abductors, and kidnappers roam freely in search of prey. In short, there's no one in charge. You would expect all these to ignite mass unrest. Instead, citizens continue to defend, plead, appease, praise, and are ready to die for the same blood-sucking parasites that have destroyed them. Jerry Rawlings of Ghana sums it up beautifully. Nigerians are still in love with their oppressors. The situation in northern Nigeria is deteriorating. In 2019, the then Kaduna State Governor, Nasir El-Rufai, stated that northern Nigeria's development indicators are comparable to those of war-torn Afghanistan and should alarm its leaders. He further supported his point by saying Nigeria is divided into two nations, the developing South and a backwards, less educated, and unhealthy North. Nigeria consists of two countries. There is a backward, less educated and unhealthy northern Nigeria, and a developing, largely educated and healthy southern Nigeria. He further stated in 2019 that the North must be honest with itself and ask why northern Nigeria has development indicators comparable to Afghanistan, a country still at war. We have the most significant number of poor people in the world, most of them in northern Nigeria. Nigeria also has the largest number of out-of-school children, with virtually all of them located in northern Nigeria. Northern Nigeria has become the center of drug abuse, gender violence, banditry, kidnapping, and terrorism. We have also been associated with a high divorce rate and breakdown of families. This is the naked truth that we have to tell ourselves, El-Rufai said. The Nigerian situation defies all logic. Are we a country of morons, imbeciles, or idiots, or all of the above? In the ongoing discussion about these socio-economic challenges facing northern Nigeria, it is time for the region's long-standing elites to step back and engage in meaningful self-reflection. They should accept responsibility for the region's underdevelopment. Over the last 65 years of Nigeria's independence, northern elites have governed the country for approximately 46 years and 6 months in total, from Tafawa Balewa's tenure in 1960 to Muhammadu Buhari's term in 2023.
Despite this significant tenure, the region remains mired in underdevelopment, and the accusations being levied against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has spent less than 3 years in power, are not just disingenuous but also a stark display of irresponsibility, to say the least. The primary question that arises is, how can the very elites who wielded power for more than 4 decades, close to 50 years, suddenly cast blame on a new administration for failing to achieve development within this short period in office? The psychological and intellectual gymnastics required to justify such behavior point to a deeper malaise within the political class of northern Nigeria. The criticism directed at contemporary leaders, including the president, overlooks the systemic failures and the historical burden of neglect that have been passed down through the years. The northern elites have had ample opportunity to effect change, yet time and again, they have chosen to prioritize personal and political gains over the sustainable development of their regions. Their silence during decades of mismanagement, corruption, and inept governance amounts to complicity in the ongoing failures of the area. The criticisms aimed at the current leadership, rather than being constructive or aimed at accountability, serve to divert attention from their own shortcomings. Corporate accountability must begin with self-examination and an acknowledgement of one's role in maintaining the status quo. The truth is that, while no political institution is perfect, northern elites had a fiduciary duty to uplift their communities and regions. This duty was neglected due to self-interest and a lack of vision. Instead of demanding accountability from new leaders, these elites need to look inward, as Senator Uba Sani aptly suggested, and recognize their own failures in promoting the economic and social development of northern Nigeria. Apparently, Uba Sani appears to be the only individual with a conscience among that group of northern political elites. At a time when frontline political and regional leaders from the north find it convenient to blame others, particularly President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for the region's failings, Sani has the courage and forthrightness to urge northern leaders and stakeholders to take responsibility and stop blaming other regions for the predicament bedeviling northern Nigeria. He challenged northern leaders who had held political positions in the past to account for their stewardship and contributions to the region's development. According to Uba Sani, our people want to understand why the North remains underdeveloped despite the significant investments in its growth. They are eager to know why the northern elite, who have been in control of power for years, have failed to develop the North. They also want to know why there are prosperous southern-owned industries and banks, whereas very few are owned by individuals from the North.
This is New Media TV in London. Live stream with confidence. Content is king.
Now consider the urgent indicators of underdevelopment in northern Nigeria. High poverty rates, lack of access to quality education and healthcare, stagnant economic growth, and soaring unemployment, alongside the widespread threat of terrorism, banditry, insurgency, and religious extremism. All of these did not suddenly emerge today. These issues are not new problems that appeared with the rise of the current Tinubu administration. They are deeply rooted challenges that have persisted and worsened over decades, shaped by the policies of northern elites. Their legacy includes not only the absence of infrastructural development, but also a disconnected governing class that appears more committed to political survival than to the welfare of its citizens. It is time for northern elites to take responsibility for their legacy and the circumstances they have helped shape over the years. The choices they made yesterday undoubtedly have consequences that are now visible to all. The underdevelopment of northern Nigeria cannot be entirely blamed on the individual who has held power for only a fraction of the time, when they themselves had 50 years to address the imbalances. A genuine commitment to the region's progress requires not just reflection on the past, but also a dedication to forging a united way forward. Only through shared responsibility and collaborative effort will the citizens of northern Nigeria finally enjoy the benefits of development they have long deserved.
In summary, the northern region's influence over the country, often referred to as a period of born to rule, was a result of colonial strategies and the post-independence political climate, in which northern political parties and military leaders held significant power. This situation was characterized by considerable instability and contributed to the political crises that affected Nigeria in its early years as an independent state. Years of northern Nigeria Governing Nigeria versus Southern Nigeria. Since gaining independence in 1960, Nigeria has experienced a fluctuating distribution of leadership between individuals from the northern and southern parts of the country. Nigeria has experienced periods of military rule and civilian governance, and the duration of power held by each region's leaders has been a recurring theme in political discourse. Here is a breakdown of the tenure of northern Nigerian heads of state, both democratic and military, from independence in 1960 through 2025. In the presentation slides, you will see that over 65 years, northern Nigeria, often referred to as the poor beggar husband, has produced 10 heads of state, who ruled Nigeria for a total of 46 years and 6 months, leaving the wealthier southern Nigeria, called the wife, with 6 heads of state who ruled for a total of 19 years.
Here's the roll call of the 10 previous heads of state and presidents who governed Nigeria over a period of 46 years and 6 months, from the north, starting in 1960, the year of independence, through to 2025. It begins with the first Prime Minister, Tafawa Balewa, and concludes with Muhammadu Buhari in 2023. The roll call. 1. Tafawa Balewa served for 6 years from 1st of October 1960 to 15th of January 1966. Killed in office. 2. General Yakubu Gowon, 9 years from 1st August 1966 to 29th July 1975. 3. General Murtala Ramat Mohammed, 6 months from 29th July 1975 to 13th February 1976. 4. Alhaji Shehu Shagari, 4 years from 1st of October 1979 to 31st December 1983. 5. General Muhammadu Buhari, 2 years from 31 December 1983 to 27 August 1985 as military head of state. 6. General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, IBB, 8 years from 27 August 1985 to 26 August 1993. 7. General Sani Abacha, 5 years from 17 November 1993 to 6 June 1998. Died in office. 8. General Abdul Salami Abubakar, from 8th June 1998 to 29th May 1999, a period of 1 year. 9. Umaru Musa Yar'Adua served for 3 years from 29th May 2007 to 5 May 2010, died in office. 10. Muhammadu Buhari returned, 8 years from 29th May 2015 to 29th May 2023.
With all these years of northern Nigeria being in power, and with nothing done to improve the lives of their own people in the north, one wonders why the feudal north continues to blame the south for underdevelopment in their region. This is considering they have held power for a total of 46 years and 6 months up to 2025, with 10 heads of state, of which 6 were military generals in uniform and 4 were elected democratically. That's all for now. If you have enjoyed this video presentation and any of our live streams, please remember to like, share, follow us, and subscribe to our channels on Facebook and YouTube. Turn on notifications to be alerted when we post a new video or host a live stream. Your engagement and interaction are the most significant rewards for us. They help us build a stronger community by creating content that nourishes souls. Thanks for watching. See you in our next video, New Media TV.